Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to this Nightbird video. We're going to get straight into it. We got so much to talk about. The big talking point is that this person is left-handed and everyone is saying that they think this is either Bo or Alexa. And to be honest with you, I think it could be either. I'm sure some of you are screaming saying that's clearly Bo, look at the hands. But then some of you are screaming that's clearly Alexa, look at the hands. This has really divided opinion, and I think the last time we saw Alexa was when she was struggling. She was obviously in a feud with Bianca, and Uncle Howdy made his presence felt. She's not been seen since. We know in real life she had a kid, but actually in kayfabe it might be that Alexa and Howdy got together. I mean, there is a theory doing the rounds that Alexa is also the bride. I do struggle with that a little bit, that Alexa's here at the therapist's and she's wrapped her hand in like electrical tape and then she goes back and puts a wedding dress on. I mean, it does seem a bit strange that this person and the bride would both be getting played by Alexa. I mean, I do like the idea that this is Howdy. I think Howdy makes the most sense, but this person is using their left hand, and that is a bit of a problem because, as we're going to see, there's plenty of pictures that show that Bo Dallas is right-handed. Now, he could be ambidextrous. That would obviously change things. But honestly, I'm torn on this. I just don't know. I just don't know. Luke, though, has found something else. So, Jemiah Rabbit, shout out to you. So, Luke said, notice how it showed Bo's face and not the Uncle Howdy mask. Maybe we're getting Bo and not Howdy. I think this is huge, and I think you're right in the sense of this was not Uncle Howdy. This was not the dyed grey facial hair. There was no mask or anything. This was quite clearly Bo, and I don't think that message has gone out loud enough, because if that is Bo that's coming back, that is massive. I think people want to feel connected with Bo. They don't want Uncle Howdy and the barrier that is Uncle Howdy, because Howdy's got the mask, you know, and he talks in riddles and all this kind of stuff. People want Bo out there talking to them about Wyndham and how Wyndham loved his fans, and I can't see Howdy delivering that kind of a message. I sort of feel like Howdy is Bo's fiend. It's like that is Bo's fiend. So let's save that character for special occasions, and let's bring Bo back. So I'm really excited by this. There was no suggestion of Uncle Howdy here, and that really is a big takeaway, I think, from what we got. This was found. It's an image of Nosferatu, so the Nightbird. Shout out to you. It's from a horror film from 1922. Ghosted said every so often we would get some hair popping in, and it's true. Look, this is dark hair. Now that could be Bo because he's got long dark hair, but it could be Alexa because we know that bride has got black hair. Could be a wig, could be that she dyed her hair. I mean, it's really not a big barrier, right? It's not something that's going to make it impossible to be Alexa. So is it that she has dyed her hair? I mean, we know the therapist had blonde hair, so I don't think that's the therapist, but it still doesn't help me determine if this is Bo or Alexa. Here's an image of Bo signing with his right hand. Edward, thank you. And this is the big one. Dripzilla, shout out to you. So obviously we got loads of coordinates. When you took the first letter of those coordinates, you got this word, Rainerius. This is the patron saint of Pisa and the patron saint of travelers. And the feast day for Rainerius is June 17th. And that is huge. That is huge because there was a very big indicator at the end that they're going to arrive in June. To me, the floppy disk said 6-0-24, and it really pointed towards June. And obviously, this is what a lot of people are saying. This would be a Monday. They could arrive at the Premium Live event, and then on the Monday, they could start setting about, you know, introducing themselves. I mean, it could be that they appear in a video package on the Clash at the Castle, and then on the Monday, they actually appear in person on the feast day, June 17th. A lot of people are saying, but what about King and Queen of the Ring? I've got to tell you, after watching this, I did not get King and Queen of the Ring messaging. I mean, if they were about to arrive in just 2 days' time, I think they would have gone very big on that. I think they would have gone very big. But we didn't get anything like that. We didn't get any kind of indicator that they're on the way. So I struggle with it. I'm really struggling. The odds of them coming in at King and Queen of the Ring has drastically decreased in my mind. So I am looking a little bit more towards June. I think odds-wise, I'm still probably 50-50. I've not given up all hope that they're going to be here this weekend. But I just didn't get that loud message of this weekend, you know? Right, here, this is interesting. I like this. This is Hasbro, and this is the final image, and then it goes to static. So Hasbro was just saying, like, you know, could there be something here? If you mess around with, like, the contrast and everything, this is the last thing you see. Is there something hidden in this image? I haven't had a chance to go into it, get the screen grab and mess around with it. But I'd be interested to know if that is anything. It's the final thing that you see. It's even after that. It's even after the bow moment. You get that, and then you get this static. So is there something to that? Kaylin said the veil was pulled down and other frames show shorter jet black hair. The clue veil druid means veiled cross, and Nikki Cross is veiled. I think you're right in the sense that everything there stacks up. I mean, the bride could absolutely be Nikki, but I think that veil druid can be decoded in a few ways. I wouldn't die on that hill that it definitely meant veiled cross. And I do think that it's interesting that, you know, we've seen this bride so much, but we haven't been seeing other characters. I mean, the bride has been there, very clear, right? Where's Lumis? Where's Rowan? Where's Gacy? Why have we not been seeing them as clear as the bride? The bride has been the clearest character that we've seen so far. We've had things in static, and we've had, like, these little glitchy images, but the bride has been very clear all throughout. Why would they show Nikki Cross so clear, but none of the other members? It's true. It is true. That is a very interesting quandary, isn't it? It's a very interesting thing to question. I'm really torn. I'm really torn as to which way this is going, to be honest. And it seems like many of you are as well. Some of you are absolutely adamant it's Alexa, adamant that it's Nikki. But I think there's a lot of people that are like, I don't know, we need a little bit more here. They're doing a very good job of muddying the waters, to be honest. Nightbird said, tagged me in this from Skype, so Beats, wondering if the 25 could be in Arabic. So, you know, is that? Is that? I mean, I'm not sure it is, because I would guess these parts are important. And there's no sign of those. You know, I mean, there's quite a bit of detail there. So I would imagine you need that. It's not there. So I don't think so. But I love the out-the-box thinking. I mean, I would never even know this. So I love the out-the-box thinking. So excellent work by Skytso Beats. Jay said, I'm leaning towards the bride being Alexa. She has been featured since the beginning. Why would he send a letter to Nikki if she was the bride? Here we've got Travis saying, I see several pics of Joe Gacy holding the mic in his left hand and the smiley face. Here in Bo is right-handed, but I don't know. Well, I don't think it was Gacy just because he wrote a letter to Gacy. And I just don't think that this person would write a letter to Joe Gacy. But I do like this from Liz, saying, I called it out that this person was a left-hander. So here, look, 9 days ago, no Pitbull left behind. I also have a theory that who wrote the letters was left-handed, and that from the original therapy session. Excellent work. Excellent, excellent work. So you got to give credit where it's due. 9 days ago, no Pitbull left behind. Saw that therapy session, the original one, and said, I think this person is left-handed, and nailed it. Got it right. So, Liz, shout out to you. Right, here, look, talking of left-handers, there is Alexa at a signing session. Alexa Bliss is left-handed. Here's some images. NIGHTBIRD tagged me in. So there's the Nosferatu. We've seen that one before. That's what people got excited about with Backlash, because that's the Statue of Liberty. That is Nixon, I believe, and there was all liar on screen during the time. This, I don't know what this is, but this sort of welcomed us as the thing began. So I think it was just meant to be a bit of a spooky reference to puppets, maybe. So I think it was that. Penalty Box said, I think it's Alexa. I found a handwriting. I'm not a handwriting expert. I mean, I would say that that S feels different to that S, but then I think you're right. The other S feels a lot more similar. So it's hard to say, to be honest. So I can't go off handwriting, but I think this was excellent investigation work. So, Penalty Box, shout out to you. And Brandy said, from what I can find online, both Bo and Dexter are right-handed. And goes on to say they could be like some that can write with both, though. I mean, I think that it's either Bo or Alexa that wrote the notes. I don't think it would be any of the other members, because we think that those letters went to those 4 new members. So, why would they write themselves a note? So I think it was either Bo or Alexa. T-Lil said, I've checked and I think this hand is Nikki Cross. Her fingers look closer than Alexa's. In the most respectful way, Bliss has got stubby fingers. So there's apparently Nikki's hand. There's Alexa's hand. And there's the hand of the bride. So again, I ain't even going to try and guess. And because it'd be nothing but a guess, to be honest. It would be nothing but a guess. As to whose hand that is. We know this person has got dark hair. I think it absolutely could be Nikki Cross. I can't say a reason why it wouldn't, other than we've seen this person a lot, and why would they show Nikki Cross so much? But when this gets revealed, if it turns out to be Nikki Cross, well, then it turns out to be Nikki Cross. It was Nikki Cross all along. Doesn't really change anything, you know? Doesn't matter that we've been seeing this person and not the others. That's just how they presented this. So it's really difficult. I can see arguments for this being both. Let's put it that way. I can see arguments for this being Nikki or Alexa. Anna said, the baby signifies the birth of a new family. Love that. Here's Johnny said, maybe the I will see you soon note isn't for us, the audience, but for the rest of the family. Howdy Bo could debut and then the family arrive after. And actually we got something here that adds a bit more weight to that, because here was Joe Gacy. So Brady, thank you. Nana's pointing out that he's on Twitch live, apparently. I don't know if he was interacting with the chat, but apparently he was there live. So if he was there, then how is he going to get over to Saudi Arabia in time? The flight's like 24 hours. I mean, he could catch a flight on the Friday and get there for the Saturday, but he's leaving it real close. Real close. So this isn't enough for me to say he's definitely not going to be there. He absolutely could jump on a plane and go over. But I think this adds a bit of weight to the fact that he's probably not going to be there, right? Probably not going to be there. Right, here John said the timestamp start in 26:11 in the video. You can hear struggling and a female crying, and that's true. I didn't hear it at the time, but I went back and listened, and you can hear it. So we think that's the therapist that's struggling in the background. So interesting. Obviously, there was theories that the therapist may have gone of her own accord, but seemingly not. Seemingly there is a bit of restraint that's going on. Ratchet said, these are woman's hands. If anyone would be sending Nikki a letter, wouldn't it be Alexa? It could be Howdy, couldn't it? It could be. It could be that he watched and it broke his heart seeing how no one was there for her. The left-handed thing, I think, is interesting. Ratchet said, I'm also left-handed. I hold a pen in the same way. She also wears fingerless gloves. The writer is Alexa. Bailey tagging me in this. I don't think I've seen this image before, but it did feature in the stream today. And from Pillar to Post said, MSG has always been the measuring stick. I think the group will arrive before or at this show. So Madison Square Garden, 28th of June. I would expect them by then as well. But I don't think we'll wait that long to debut them, but I would expect them by then as well. So here we've got Votch Holub, who said, if you look at WWE logic, WWE put out White Rabbit merch, and then Bray returned after. Nightbird merch is coming out. So does that mean that we're looking at the first half of June? I think, didn't someone say it drops just before Clash at the Castle? So could it be a case that we actually get them coming back at Clash at the Castle? And then that would tie in nicely with that June 17th, you know, that we were just looking at. I'm definitely starting to lean towards that weekend, you know. I think the only big thing we took away from the coordinates today was that Rainerius, or whatever it was, the patron saint of Pisa, the patron saint of travelers, and the fact that their feast day was the 17th of June. That message came across louder to me than anything to do with King and Queen of the Ring. So I know people will say, yeah, but we've seen 525, but that is Bo's birthday. So it could just be a clue for Bo. And people have said, well, we had the postcode for Jeddah, but that is also the date of the last Firefly Funhouse. It's just a coincidence that it's also a postcode for Jeddah. So it's really difficult because I am torn. I'm not 100% saying they're not coming this weekend, but I have shifted. I mean, I was feeling really good, and I'm just not feeling as good anymore about them arriving this weekend. And we're doing live streams. I mean, it's, you know, it makes sense for me to say, oh, no, they could, so that people join us for the live stream and watch to find out. So it's not really in my benefit to say, like, I'm not sure anymore. So I'm just being straight up honest. I mean, I'm not sure anymore. The message just wasn't loud enough for King and Queen of the Ring for me. NS Mommy said, I was like, what's with the mirror? I guess lots of psychologists use this method. The patient looks at their emotions to express themselves, the barrier between them, and then notes get slid underneath. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I've never heard of that, but yeah, I mean, look, it's clear that you can see the full tape, but not the full tape. You can see the book, not the book. You can see the floppy disk, not the floppy disk. It's because the mirror is raised, and so it can't see underneath itself. So actually, the mirror is reflecting everything that's to the left of that line. There's a line there, and anything to the left, the mirror can see. Anything to the right, the mirror can't see. And it's just because the mirror is raised. So it's a perspective thing. But that did throw even me off at the start. But you could see that things were kind of sliding underneath it, and soon worked it out. So Ratchet, shout out to you as well, buds. So those were a lot of the big thoughts. If we just have a look, these were the locations, and obviously they spell that words. There was one that was missed here, and that was Unikoi. So those are the letters, and then you got that one as well. Spells that words, which turned out to be the patron saint of Pisa, patron saint of travelers, the feast day, June 17th. Love it, right? Love it. Want to just blast through these. There is no theory that connects all of these, right? Well, there might be one actually, but there's just a lot of bitty things. So here, look, I'm Just Ken said, I found a Harper connection. Huber Woods Park is close to this. Very good. I would say we could have found a place that was just bang on that was connected to Luke Harper, John Huber. Like, we could have, like, pointed to the place where he was born. Or we could have pointed to somewhere where he made his debut. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, where he's, like, family live or something. Like, I feel like we could have... These pins, these locations, they could have been anywhere in the world. They've chosen these locations on purpose, and I don't know why. And it's not even just the first letter, because, I mean, think of all the places in the world. You could easily, like, spell that word and use thousands of different places instead. Why did they choose these places? Why these places? There must be something about the places in particular. Not so much what's close by, but the places themselves. I just don't know. It's really bugging me. This is the one that's really bugging me. So Alex said, here are the places. 2 are close by. Don't know if there can be any lines drawn. That was a theory. Can you draw lines? Does it Does it do anything? I mean, there is a theory we'll see in a bit. I've got it here, actually, of a arrow. I'm not totally sold on this, right? I love the effort, right? And we'll look at it in a minute. But you can sort of see that the arrow, it doesn't look like it comes out of the arrow head. It just comes a little bit above. And then as you follow the line down, you can see it doesn't even hit Jeddah. If you look where Jeddah is, it sort of has to, the arrow has to point up to Jeddah. Again, if that's what they wanted to do, create a giant arrow pointing to Jeddah, I think they could have done a better job than that. I think they easily could have found some other locations that left it in no doubt whatsoever. Whereas I look at this and I love the theory. I think the theory is brilliant. That's why I wanted to include it. I just don't know that it quite works in execution, to be honest. So there we go. That is that. But we'll come to that theory. We do have it just up here. So Anthony found Cottonwood quite close by, and Eli Cottonwood was Bray's first follower. Here, look, Stevenson has found Taylor County, right? That's Taylor's obviously the first name of Bo. Then here we've got Ramblewood. That could be a nod to Rambling Rabbit, says Keith. Here's Roni, who said Scarborough in Canada could be a nod to Kyle Scarborough, who did some concept art for Bray Wyatt. Could be. Could be. I think Coaster Maniacs mentioned that as well. Here's Luke. Luke is the one that sent this over, and I love this theory. I mean, I so want this to be right. I'm just struggling a little bit with it when you look at the fact that it looks like if that line continued, it would miss Jeddah. And it would go through Saudi Arabia, in all fairness. I mean, it would point to Saudi Arabia, but it wouldn't point directly to Jeddah. So, and I don't even know that it comes quite out the end. It seems to be just a little high. Plus also, why include these? Because these places, I know you need the letters to create that patron saint. But there must be letters along here, the same letters that you could have picked. If you wanted a giant arrow, you could easily make a giant arrow, right? Why these places? It bugs me because these places, they've got to be for a reason. Anthony said, if you go to Erlanger's website, it says be part of what's next. It's probably nothing, but it's interesting. Nick said they were unincorporated townships, but now they are joined to towns. So that's the one that I thought was interesting. Anything that groups them all together, I think, is interesting. Here's Drew said there is a show called Wrestling with Ghosts. One of the episodes is called The Rabbit Man Cometh, and that's in Unicoi, Tennessee. So interesting. Those are the places. That was the one that was missed. And that's pretty much all the stuff that's been mentioned about locations, right? Here's some on dates. So previously we saw Matthew 7:7 and Matthew 6:24 said no one can serve two masters. That's kind of interesting because we might have two masters. We might have Bo and Alexa. Either you hate the one and you love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. We got this as well. NS Mommy said, fix the shadows. That is definitely a Pluto sign. And I agree. It looks more like a Pluto than an 8. This was on the floppy disk, and there was a lot of talk about this. And I agree. I think that looks more like a Pluto sign than an 8. Dave said, how about this? The date that's missing could be a 6. So that would be 6/6/24, which would be the next Twitch stream. That means they've got 2 weeks to accept Uncle Howdy's letters to join his group. Like that. That's kind of interesting. I think there'd be some frustration out there if this continues past King and Queen of the Ring, but that theory was around that maybe Howdy arrives this weekend and then maybe the rest of the group follow after. You know, Howdy sent his invitations out. He could come back, right? And then it could be that we find out that the rest of the group are going to join him, but just a little bit later. Right, here, Takeo said, it takes you to Monday Night Raw if you go 6/24. I think that's a bit late. I mean, I think that's feast day is 6/17. And I think it's on 6/15. We've got Clash at the Castle. And it's hard to not see Nikki being at Clash at the Castle. I mean, I thought it was pretty good that she could arrive before King and Queen of the Ring, and she would still be at Clash at the Castle, and that would be fine. But I can't see her not being at Clash at the Castle at all. That would be a real shame. So I don't know that we would leave it that late. Ollie said, this is from June 24th. So we've seen a 6 and a 24. So rather than people thinking that that's a month and a year, people are like, is that an indication of this? Because on the 24th of June 2013, we did get this Bray Wyatt reveals more about himself. And people are saying, is that what's on the floppy disk? Does the floppy disk contain that? Like this footage of Bray revealing more about himself. This is from June 24th, and we've seen this forest picture already, says Ollie. I don't mind that. I don't mind that. This is from the same thing, Alexandra, thank you. So, rewatching, that's the same clip, just at a different point. And this is the last one. So, Taylor 3 said that 6:17:24 is a passage from the Bible. So Jesus teaching a large crowd of disciples. So you've got a call to the crowd for discipleship. You've got Jesus teaching on the level place, teachings on the responsibility and promised blessings of his followers. So we're talking about the floppy disk at the end. And the fact that it said 6-0-24, it very much felt like a date. And it very much felt like the middle number is missing. And it very much feels like at some point that number is going to be filled in. I really think at some point we see Howdy or Alexa or whoever get a pen and write the date in. And when they do, I think that's the date they arrive. And it might be a 15. It might be that it's 6:15 and it's Clash at the Castle. Right? Or it could be a 17 and they're actually going to arrive at the Raw after Clash at the Castle. And I know people would say, well, why would you debut them at Raw rather than at a premium live event? And it's an excellent question. It's an excellent question. I mean, I think you would want to debut them at a premium live event. I think you would want people to tune in to the premium live event. But it could be a 15 that gets written in there, and that would be Clash at the Castle. So it's really not that far till Clash at the Castle. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really, really tricky. Really tricky. There's more questions than answers probably on this one. It's been a bit annoying for that. Let me just blast down some of the notes that I made from the live stream. So here we've got Mayor Pete saying the locations are all famous cults. I did look into one location. I couldn't find a cult in it. So I think what I need is a bit of a breakdown of here's all the places. Here's the cults that are from those places. And that would definitely add weight to that argument then. Nostalgically Awkward pointed out the gloves. I don't know if I've got the picture of the gloves. I should have a picture of the gloves, which is there. It's true, the tape was over gloves. Now, I don't know if that is like just a wrist support for Bo or Alexa. I mean, it's very, very hard to say. I can't find any examples of these gloves. So, I don't know, does that add a bit more weight to this being Alexa? You know, she did have fingerless gloves before. It's, again, very, very difficult to say. I don't know if we can find some writing. I mean, we did obviously have that one example where we were trying to look to see if we could compare the handwriting. But maybe that's something that could be explored a little bit more. Matthew says about a pier, right? So on the new Cavebird shirt, there's a pier, and apparently a pier does feature in the Bray Braun swamp fight, but I'm not sure it's the same pier. I'm interested because maybe a pier will appear at some point, because there is a pier that seems to be on the new Cavebird shirt, and I just haven't seen anything to do with a pier. So I'm quite interested. Maybe that's a glimpse of something still to come. Interesting. Andrew Billingsley said he heard a struggle. So did I Like Turtles just before the music was put back on, and that was at 26:11. But I think if you go back, you can hear it kind of dotted all throughout the Twitch stream. Wardville UK said that all these places have got hotels by Wyndham. I'm guessing that's a chain. And obviously, that's pretty interesting. I don't know that they would select these locations for that reason, but it's interesting. It's interesting. It could be, couldn't it? Could be. This really, the location is the thing that has done my head in the most on this one. Elijah pointed out that Abby and Irwin and Ramble were all featured in the location names, but it doesn't fit every location name. So it's kind of, you know, there's some words that jump out on some, but then there's some that just don't seem to have anything. So that makes it quite confusing. Andrew Chapman said June in Greek is Hera. That is the wife of Zeus. So it kind of ties a little bit to wife and bride. So again, is that like when this group are going to debut? So June in Greek is Hera or Hera, and that apparently was the wife of Zeus. Mr. B said each location has got caves. And again, I would go back to what I said. I mean, I checked one and I couldn't find a cave. There might be caves that are close by, but I couldn't find a cave exactly in those locations. So again, to put more weight to that, we might just need a tweet or something that says, this location, there's the cave. This location, there's the cave. If they are all caves, I think that's really interesting. But again, why would you not just choose the actual caves? They could have chose any locations. They could have chose locations that were caves. Why these locations? I keep going back to that because it's so frustrating. And then the last one, Kim's Train said, these have all been joined to other towns. And I think that was mentioned earlier. So there we go. That was a real frustrating one. I've got to tell you, I really dug. I went onto Reddit. I read loads of notifications. I did so much stuff. I mean, I rewatched it. I really did see what I could dig up, but at the moment, this is everything I know, everything I've seen, all the thoughts, all the theories, all the big ones anyway. I mean, there's other theories, like the 624 means that 6 people are coming in 24 hours. I've been sent that a few times. So, I mean, there's lots of thoughts and theories and things that are out there, but this is where we are right now. So hopefully we don't have to wait too long, though, because, of course, SmackDown, I believe, will be earlier this week because it's coming from Saudi Arabia. So actually, I might need to go. And actually get to bed because I might be getting up very soon to do the SmackDown stream. So there could be spoilers because I don't know when these shows air. So they might air at the normal time in America, which means they are taped. So that is going to really ruin stuff for people. So just be aware of that. SmackDown tonight comes from Saudi Arabia. So there we go. Right, thanks a lot for watching. I am going to get off to bed so we're ready for SmackDown and whatever comes next with this. Don't get too down if they don't arrive at King and Queen of the Ring. I think just mentally get ready for that maybe not being the case. And maybe this thing does go to Clash at the Castle. If it does, it's fine. I can deal with a few more weeks of this. It's not a problem. I've been enjoying it. I know for some, they're really ready now for this group to arrive. But if it's just not the time, it's just not the time. So there we go. Thanks for watching. Appreciate the support. See you next time. Bye for now.